come there, bro. I wish, but
Uh,
after that, the next events I'll come for sure.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. It's I know it's a bit late for you. Like, what is it? Like 9 p.m.
yeah,
Where are you at?
exactly. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. And I'm here to learn because the team gave me kind of like a brief overview of your story,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that part of your story where it was like where you struggled with e-commerce, and this is, I mean, inevitable part of the journey, right? Like for most
Yeah,
people, and there's only kind of like two outcomes, right? It's like either it's like you give up and you move on to something else, um, or you just decide to figure it out. And so I want to kind of like dig deeper into those kind of things because it's something that everyone goes through. I was going through those stages. Everyone who's done pretty well, like they're going through those stages. And now like you're doing 100K a month, right? Last months.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, now we're doing 100K a month. I did it already during the summer, like last summer, and then it dropped for a while. Like between October till December, we were just doing like under 100K, like 80K a month basically. And then last month we finished December with 50K in a week, so that's why we got to the 100K. And then just 2 days ago we did the first 10K day as well. So yeah,
Nice, nice, good stuff, my man. What's
yeah.
what's your journey like? What's your kind of like? What's your like? How did you get in e-commerce like in the first place?
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, to be honest. Like my grandpa was an entrepreneur, both my parents have done things in entrepreneurship, and yeah, I just didn't want to have a normal job. Then I played ice hockey since I was a kid. Uh, so when I was 19, I started like I played ice hockey, but in Sweden I didn't get paid enough to actually just live off that, or at least have like a good life of it. So
So
uh,
didn't pay that much to like hockey player.
well, if you play in the highest level, they do. I didn't play in the highest level. Like at the level where I was at, I didn't get paid enough for it.
Did, did you
So
did you fight like when you were playing? Did you fight with people?
it happens sometimes. It's not something. I did it more before, to be honest. Now I'm more laid back with it. Yeah, yeah.
I like when
So
they're like, and they have these like big sinks, and they're like hitting it.
yeah,
It's so fascinating when they fight.
yeah. I know. It's yeah. Well, it's part of the game. Yeah, it keeps everything quite safe, which is the crazy thing. Like
Uh huh.
if you wouldn't have fighting, it would probably like the sport would be even harder because if you do something dirty, somebody will come and fight you. So that's what makes the game pretty good, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, but then then I finished high school. I started playing like more pro hockey then, but didn't get enough paid. I worked as like just in a school basically. I did that for a little while. Then I moved to Canada to play hockey.
Oh
uh,
wow.
and then I really was like, fuck, I need to do something about this. Like it's not just gonna happen by itself that things will get better. So yeah, just it went on like that for a little while. Though I moved back to Sweden, COVID happened. I was supposed to go back to Canada. That didn't happen because of COVID. I worked in a warehouse for a little while, and then basically April last year, I got a new job at a Dutch company in Sweden.
Hmm.
And I was really like, now I'm so done working for other people. I have to figure something out. And when I was in Canada, I actually started searching like online how to make money online. That's how it all started. First, I was really looking into doing like Airbnb.
Hmm.
That seemed pretty interesting, but I thought with the capital it needed and like managing properties, being there, that wouldn't be too good to start with. And then I started seeing more videos about drop shipping. So I started to look into it more. And at the new job I worked in Sweden, I actually didn't have to work much at all. I was just sitting at a desk. I was like in a reception basically where like trucks came in.
Hmm.
Uh, I had to do like the weight, but there weren't so many trucks. So I started to read like books and stuff, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I started to do a lot more research on drop shipping. I bought my first course actually. My girlfriend really helped me, like pushed me towards it as well. We split it 50-50 and bought our first course together.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Actually, I didn't get so much value from it. I would say it was mainly like a YouTuber who sold more. Yeah, he was doing way more stuff on YouTube than what he did in his course. So then I did that. That was in May last year that I bought the course. Then I went on, or that was 2021. Then I guess, yeah, no, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I just kept on going. I tried TikTok organic, Pinterest ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads. Like
How much money you had at that point? Like how much savings you had to kind of to jump?
well, I had around like 6K
Uh-huh.
as savings, and then I actually also had like 6K invested in yeah, just investments. So I used like 2K for the first course. Then I went to play hockey in the Netherlands last season. So I
Mm-hmm.
earned some more money from that. And then I basically took all that money and burned it every month on like testing ads, buying products for TikTok organic, all
Mm-hmm.
those things. Then in December, it still nothing was working. I did like 1.2K in revenue with TikTok organic, but everything, yeah, that was over a span of like 3 months. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was really bad. But I burned all that money again on ads as well. And then I was really like, yeah, I need to see, like, I was just evaluating what I should do, but I saw it was working for other people, and I was like, this has to work. I just have to find like one winning product, just learn how to do this. And then there was a guy in Sweden in a Facebook group, and he posted that he did like 250K in like 1.5 year.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then I just sent him a message and asked him like, do you want to teach me how to dropship? And then he said, yeah, I would like to do that. And he had actually just teach somebody else, which is Marcus Buurman, who was
Oh,
also
really?
on the interview with him.
Marcos is killing it, no?
Yeah, it's insane, man. He is killing it.
How much he's doing? Like he's done like 1 million last month?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
like yeah, he has had some crazy days. Like I know it's 200K plus days. So yeah, he's been killing it for sure. So yeah, then he basically teach me how to, like, the basics of drop shipping. Yeah, just doing Facebook, just selling in Sweden. Like, it was all very simple stuff, to be honest. Just somebody had to tell me like what steps I had to take, basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and from there on, it went well. I saw my first sale after, I think, 2 weeks after he learned
Mm-hmm.
me, and then yeah, we went to like $100 a day to 1,000, and then we did like our first 40K month in the second month, and then that was in like March. Then it became like 60K.
This year or last year?
Yeah, 2023. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this year.
Oh, yeah, it's already last. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
so
already.
yeah, it's
I'm like,
yeah, I
I'm
know.
like
I'm
still
still confused as
processing it.
well. Yeah, yeah. So 2023, and yeah, so basically this year, and then yeah, during the summer everything went so well, and then I actually joined ESS in May already, and yeah, that boosted everything to scale from like 60 to 100K plus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice one. So, what are the so the whole time you have been like in Swedish market?
Yeah, so I've mainly been in the Swedish market. I did duplicated everything to Norway as well. So we did sell in Norway, but that was like 20% of what we were doing in Sweden, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, I duplicated everything to the Netherlands as well. Didn't really see as much traction, so I've just mainly focused on Sweden, yeah. But at the moment, we're now also doing Germany, so Sweden, Germany, and now it's actually working okay in the Netherlands as well.
Nice. And so, what like for people listening, I know there's quite a few people that have cracked this, like pretty much like international markets. They could sell like in 10 different countries. So how does
Mhm.
it work like in Europe? Let's say in like, do you need different payment processors like in Sweden that you need in Netherlands, that you need in Norway, that you need in Germany, for example, or
Mhm.
like kind of like how it works, or you can use the same payment processors because for each one of those countries.
Yeah, so basically in Scandinavia, I would say at least like Sweden, Norway, it's the exact same. It's basically the same country. So then Germany, it's for sure PayPal as well, which you need to have there.
Hmm.
But Klarna works pretty good as well. So you really need to have Klarna, PayPal, and then in the Netherlands, you really need Ideal. So yeah, there's several different for every country. You need to really check the payment providers, I would say.
Hmm.
Uh, but in the end, things work very well with Klarna, PayPal, and then just having a Stripe account. And with Stripe, you can basically have all those payment providers.
Oh, really? So Stripe, if you have Stripe, you can have all of those.
Yeah. So Ideal, yeah. So I have some different, like Klarna. I have a Klarna merchant account. PayPal, I have a different PayPal account, and then but I know you can do all those. In the beginning, I started off with just having Klarna through Stripe. Like everything was through Stripe basically in the beginning. But I think the performance was better when we did everything with Klarna merchant for us.
Mm. Is Klarna giving you like a lot of trouble? I've heard some people saying that Klarna is giving them holds and stuff like that, or not really.
I haven't had any issues. I really hope it won't happen because I've heard it from a lot of people as well. But we haven't had any issues with Klarna at all, honestly.
Uh-huh.
When I used Klarna through Stripe, then we had some issues with Stripe, but that wasn't with Klarna. That was
Mhm.
basically with Stripe. Then we had some holds there, but Klarna we haven't had any holds so far.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
those like I want to kind of like that initial period, right? Like when when you tried e-commerce, like, and kind of like what like looking now, like what you know now and like what you have learned on this journey, what do you think have been the biggest kind of like difference in mindset and thinking that you have now versus that you had previously, that you had to change in
Mhm.
order to finally like kind of like start getting traction with with ecom?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that really helped me, I read a book in December that it's called the Chimp Paradox, and it's really about your mindset, how you have like a chimp in
How
your
it's called? Paradox what?
the Chimp Paradox, the
Jim?
Chimp Paradox.
Jim?
Yeah, chimp like the monkey, a chimp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Never heard of that
Yeah,
book.
so it's about like that you have it was a lot about like mindset, and that's I think that was the first thing for me, the really to have the belief, like how you have this little voice in your head basically that has mainly like negative things to tell you all day long. And
Mm.
really to have that belief that things actually work, and that's why I kept pushing as well. I think that was the first thing, which I had to do to believe that it was able for me to make the money, and then after that to actually like dare and invest in myself more, actually pay other people for their knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that yeah, like I said, it's not easy, but it's pretty simple. Like
Mhm.
the drop shipping thing, how to do it. It was just that somebody had to tell me which steps to follow, and then I
Mm.
just followed those steps. And that's basically what I've done ever since. Like that's how I scaled from 0 to 40K. That's how we went from 40 to 100K. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's how I think we'll get further as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, always wanting to learn.
So initially you said like that, like even like buying, like investing in that training was kind of like a mindset shift for you, like that you
Yeah,
had to kind of like overcome.
yeah, for sure. That was for sure a mindset shift for me. Like I did invest in the other course before that,
Uh-huh.
And that made me pretty skeptical to courses, I would say, because yeah, unfortunately, I think there are a lot of people out there that just don't give the value which they actually can provide. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people that maybe have the knowledge for it, but they just don't provide everything. And yeah, I that definitely made a change for me. I also told myself, like in January or basically December, if I don't make 3K in profit a month with drop shipping by the 31st of March, then I will go and get a regular job again to yeah, to start earning more money. Uh, but yeah, that's I think that also pushed me more to, like, yeah, keep on going, and I
Mm.
knew that I had to make it work, basically.
You established a deadline for yourself.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, it's interesting because we as humans, like, it is like incredible like what we can do if there is like a like particular constraint, right? Particular deadline, or there's some kind of like something that, like, for example, for you, as you said, it was like getting a job was associated like with a lot of pain. You didn't really want to do this, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like, you kind of like force yourself, like force your back against the wall in order to like, kind of like, I don't want this so much that like I'll figure out a way. And that's how you, because like if you think about it, the solutions, like the tactics, the strategies, I mean, you can probably dig on YouTube and find all of the information that you need,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you really were like committed,
Hmm.
um, obviously it's not the most efficient way, and it's like, I mean, it probably will take you like a lot of time, but
Yeah.
the information is there, like was abundance of like even like right now, when I was starting my business, like I'm like 2016, 17, there were
Yeah.
like not a lot of people talking about like e-commerce, and like, and find some information, or like spy tools were not that accessible,
Yeah.
or there are not that many of them. So right now
Mhm.
there's such an abundance of information that can help people succeed, but at the same time, it's the ability to like filter through all of that information, right, and choose
Yeah.
only kind of like what's important, because you can get overwhelmed and you can get distracted very fast if you just like you know um so I think that's another, like, I think it's kind of like there's different challenges, right, and there's always kind of like an enemy. I mean, an enemy, it's not like a virtual enemy, but it's like something is against you, right? Either it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like
I get you.
overwhelming, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
either,
yeah. I totally get what you mean. Yeah.
so it's like maybe it's your own beliefs, right? And you stacked against them, right? So you have to overcome
Mhm.
that. Like now you overcame that. Like now there's another one. Now there's overwhelm of information. Like what do you do with that? Okay, so now it's like, and so as you go through your journey, and now and then you have competition, right? Now you have like other people trying to take you down sometimes, or rip your product,
Yeah,
like.
for sure.
And so there's many challenges that kind of on this journey, but I mean, kind of like overlapping all of that, right? If you think about all of that, if you are if the pain of, like, let's say for you, like the pain of just like going back and like getting like a job is it's so painful, you don't want to do this so much, that
Mhm.
will force you, right? And that will force your brain to function on a different level, to go through all of these different things, like quickly analyze information, see what to do, what not to do, and make decisions faster. I think,
Yeah. Sure.
most people, they live kind of like in the middle, right? Where it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like painful, right? But it's like, but it's okay. you know
Yeah. Exactly.
you know
We live for the weekend, I think, like
yeah.
that. It's yeah. I just could never imagine a life where somebody could tell me when I was allowed to take off, or like, yeah, go on vacation, or yeah, those kind of things. And I definitely think that there's a lot of people that they just don't believe that it is possible. I mean, when I started drop shipping, a lot of people just, yeah, they didn't believe that this was going to work. Like,
Mhm.
people just think it's a big scam. You see it online everywhere, and yeah, it's people think that people only make money off the courses, I guess, stuff like that.
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely think that it has a lot to do with belief and how much you want it as well. Like if
Mm,
there's you if you're fine with living that life and just going to a normal job every day and enjoying the weekend and those kind of things, like being an entrepreneur definitely, like it's a hard grind to do this all day. Like this is way more than a part-time job, so or a normal job, I mean. So yeah, I understand the people that don't want to do it as well. I think in the end everybody would like to have a life where they can have the freedom and do
yeah.
whatever they want, but yeah, I just don't think everybody believes it's possible or they want to put in the work for it.
Yeah, such a good point. Such a good point. It's it's kind of like, so there is, there's always like point A and point B in every person's life, right? And so every person's like here, right? And they want to go to here, right? But usually, no matter what those kind of like steps are, I mean, 99% of cases, there is a price to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just financial price, but there's like a time, energy, effort, risk, frustration, embarrassment. It's like
Hmm.
you try e-commerce and like your friends like, oh, it's like you're trying e-commerce and then 3 months you're trying it, 6 months you're trying, and they're like, it's like, what the fuck, right? I mean, you're trying e-commerce, like, I mean, you like, and so kind of like going through all of those things, right? Where sometimes you mentioned like it's an amazing thing also, like you mentioned this briefly, that I think is super important, like that your girlfriend has supported you on this journey, right? Where you try to get into business and it's like, I mean, all it takes is one fucking person to believe in you. Like for me it was my wife,
Hmm.
that supported me, where like we were like broke, but she's like, you know kind of like pushing me, and like, I'm okay, and so, and all it takes is that like one person by your back that's like would kind of support you. Like sometimes they would even see more that you can see, right? Sometimes they would see more potential in you that you could see. And I think this is fascinating that that you had that person, your girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for it. Without her, this I probably would have still been in in a warehouse. I don't think in a warehouse maybe, but it would have for sure been a different journey. And yeah, she definitely yeah, she gave me that belief. She also gave me the book about the mindset. So that's also pretty crazy. Yeah, so those kind of things. She helped a lot, and yeah, that's I think that's important to have somebody who believes and to be able to believe in yourself basically, because in the end that's the most important thing, but it helps a lot when somebody else believes in you.
Hmm. So good point, man. So we had some questions here.
Hmm.
So um, they asked Germany, right? Like as a market, kind of like what do you see about what do you see about Germany? Kind of like how good of the market that is, like some things to keep in mind and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I mean, Germany is such a big market. I think first of all, as well, when you start think about Germany, you can straight away think about that there are several countries that actually speak German, like Austria, Switzerland. So it's a very big market to enter, and that's really why I want to get in there mainly, because I mean in Sweden we only have like there's like 7 million people on Facebook, I think. And if you look at Germany, there's like 70 million. So it's such a big difference. But I'm actually still pretty new to the German market as well, I would say. I'm still figuring it out, but we've definitely seen some good results there. What has worked well for me is basically just copying what is working in Sweden and bringing it to Germany. Focusing a lot of just the normal things that I also try and focus on in Sweden. There's no, I would say, specific hacks or anything like that. Just important to have the good payment providers. But I definitely think that Germany has huge potential.
Hmm. I've heard like one of the things about German market is that it's you can do like two. too crazy of the claims because people
Yeah.
don't believe them.
Yeah, but that's the same in Sweden. So that's why it's like, I think that's more in Europe in
Uh-huh.
general. Claims, you have to like be careful with them. So that's why, like in Sweden, you see that that doesn't work either. People are very, we've tried that in like some videos, and you only get comments like, where who's this person? Who claims this? Where do you get this from? So that's yeah, that doesn't really work the same way here. No.
I think it's important to it's a good point you mentioned that, because let's say for people watching this, or be watching the recording of our conversation, let's
Mhm.
say if the understanding of mentality in your country is super important,
Yeah.
super important factor, right? So it's something that you can use to your advantage, like the fact that you knew, for instance, like Swedish mentality, because like with that, like with a replication of the offer, like one part that you can just like translate in Google Translator, it's
Yeah.
a mentality, right? So maybe you can get but it's in our community, like it gets a little bit easier, because like we have people from like different markets, and like you can just like, hey, message them, and we can
Mhm.
introduce you to, like, boom, any market we can crack. We have Simone, for example, Simone Nani,
Yep.
in the mastermind. He is I think he's in 13 different markets
Yeah.
in Europe, and he's
Crazy.
also selling in the United States. I think this last year, he finished about, like, I think 15 or 17 million dollars. So had a
Wow.
decent year, and yeah, so kind of like, but he's on those different markets, so it's like, boom, you need the expertise on a particular market, like there you go, and so.
Yeah.
But it is important, like, yeah, when you're starting. Um, I know some people that are doing, like, cash on delivery markets, even,
Yeah.
Eastern Europe. Um, I know some people even um, in the like Eastern, the Middle East, right? The not
Yeah.
even Middle East, even
Yeah.
Middle
Yeah.
East. So
Mhm.
there's so many different markets that
Yeah.
you don't have to be limited to, let's say, United States. United States is a great market, but it's also
Mhm.
like very competitive, right? And so if you don't have like a lot of skills, it might be more challenging for you to get traction, or might take longer time,
Yeah.
especially if you're just starting out. So but this is something super important for people to just, okay, which market you at, which mentality do you understand, what competitive advantage, right? It's pretty much, one of my mentors said, I still remember this, like, it's never get into the business without competitive advantage.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your competitive advantage? To understand the market? Do you know how to sell? Do you know how to write copy? Do you know how to edit videos? Like, what skills do you have? Kind of like, what skills you can apply, what skills you probably need to hire for or get outsourced, or what information you don't know, so you go and buy like information, education, courses, coaching, consulting, like whatever you need to fill out those gaps.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So, and I think that was big, like you just said about the markets, that in the beginning, I didn't focus on Sweden or the Netherlands. I was more like, yeah, oh, I only can sell in like in the US or like worldwide, because yeah, just Sweden, that will just be too small. But you have to make something work just in one country first, basically. And that's like, then a country like in Europe is enough. You don't have to yeah, just make it in the US straight away. And with the country research, yeah, that's definitely something I learned from ESS, from the VSL course from Toppy. Yeah, he
Hmm.
showed that very well, that it's important to do good research on what people actually think about in a country. Do they check things like Trustpilot?
Yeah.
How do you behave? What kind of payment providers are they used to? Like, what kind of guarantees do they want to have? Like, yeah, it's just a lot of small things which you can do. Yeah, it's pretty easy to research. You just have to think about it, because it's such easy places as forums, or yeah, just go online and look for it.
Yeah, like Topi is a great example of that as well. Like, he's doing hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in Finland, which is, I don't know what's the population of Finland. It's probably a few million
That's
people.
like 5 million. It's like
Yeah.
half of Sweden. So yeah. It's
and
crazy.
and also it's we had a conversation like today with him, and I think it's and another good point on that part is that what you just mentioned about the research, because research when it comes to marketing, to selling products, right, it's one of the most, I mean, probably the most important thing, right? Because you
Yeah.
can copy, like, I mean, sometimes you can just copy the product, copy the landing page from someone else, slightly tweak it, copy the ads and start selling it. And oftentimes it hits, right?
Hmm.
But to truly scale that like effort, and to scale that to good numbers, you have to understand who you're selling to, and you have to understand what kind of language your customers are speaking, what kind of words they're using. And so for Topi, for instance, he's done pretty well. Like, he scaled to like 300K per month was his store. And then he's like, and he was doing all of the research, he was going on forums, as you said, like he was
Yeah.
like doing all of that research that is required in order to make it the ad copy, the marketing angles, the videos, the creatives, like as appealing as possible. And then he's kind of like deviated from that. He prioritized other things, and his performance started to decline.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation. I'm like, maybe you should do this and kind of like get back to the things that got you to that level. And he did. And so now he's back on track. He's scaling very nicely, and um, just reinforces the importance of, people say like, oh, product is saturated, oh, product is that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, maybe, but like, oftentimes it's also how you market it. And
Yeah.
oftentimes you see some products that are not like very special, but people figure out how to market those, and they scaling consistently for months and for years. And you're just like, because they're just creative, they're just like innovating new ways to sell the product. You
Yeah.
just see content like images, videos, younger models or actors, like older ones, different scripts, different structures. So there's so many ways to sell the product.
Yeah,
what,
for
what,
sure.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think so too. I mean, the first winning product that I got, sold it first time in February last year, and we're still selling that today.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, we that's I think there is like a market cap which we have reached with the product. Like, we were doing like 7K days in the beginning, or like in the summer. Then it was a product that was taken by a lot of different people. But we just kept on going with it. We tested a lot of new marketing angles, started doing VSLs, advertorials, and then UGC content. I just think that that's, very important to keep on testing different things. And that, the part of the research was so important for us with that, that we really, because when we started selling the product, I had an understanding of what the product was, but I actually didn't really know what it was solving for people. And then once I started to really dive deep into what it actually solves for people, that's when everything just exploded for us, basically. So
Mhm.
I definitely think like the research is, you have to understand what you're solving for people, because in the end, people are only buying solutions from you, basically.
And oftentimes, like, so for example, in our business, it's like we're selling products mostly to women,
Yeah.
and to women that are like 40 years old and 40 years and older. So I'm not 40-year-old woman. I don't
Yeah.
know the challenges, right? That 40-year-old woman, or 50 or 60, would have, right? So the only way I can find that out is by researching, and by going to forums, and by going to Amazon reviews, and
Yeah.
seeing what kind of reviews they're leaving, and what kind of language they're utilizing in their reviews, so that pretty much like just shortcutting that, and kind of like understanding the mentality of that customer that buys a particular product. Because, like, I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, as you said, it's there is like kind of, I like to think about this, like, there's a customer on the other, like, just somewhere, like they're, in their car, or they're like in the office, like hiding from their boss, or whatever they do, right? They're on their phone and they're thinking about something, and now your ad pops up, right? And it's like, okay, what do you have to say to that person? First of all, to stop them from scrolling, right? It's like good hook, like at the beginning, right? Second, to keep them watching, right? Or if this is like an image ad, to get them to click, right? Having compelling copy. So now they clicked. Okay, what do they have to say on the website to get them to actually buy, and reverse all of the risks that they think they have? Oh, it's like of buying this product, or how long it takes, or it's like all of these things that go through their minds. And the only way truly to know that is by just researching and listening. And as you said, even like on the comment section, like when people are skeptical, all right,
Yeah.
maybe your claims are too bold, right? Maybe you have to change. I
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
in the drop shipping space, like people usually hide comments, but it's like I would hide, but also I would read them. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Like we've lately had some comments where people just say, just just give me the solution faster in the video, because we've been doing like more longer form VSLs, and
uh-huh.
then now instead of making the longer forms, we're testing to do some shorter forms, and we're seeing good results with that again. So just things like that, just reading what your customers want. Yeah, I think that's super important. And just like you said, like going through the website, like thinking about what does a person actually want. It's very hard to do that when you actually build the website as well. So it's so good to just ask somebody else to read through it, or yeah, something like that, because most of the people probably don't read everything that you have on your website. But that's basically when I write a website. In the beginning, I was like, yeah, everybody will read everything, and then yeah, they will have an understanding of it. But that's totally not how it works. So that's also like you need to be able to understand how can I explain like the problems that they're having and how this is the solution in the fastest way possible, basically.
Mm, such a good point. We have another question here. How much did he spend investments to start? So you mentioned, right? It's like $6,000 more or less that you've had to your name, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically from before I started, like before we started seeing like the business started doing well. I basically invested like 6K into everything. Yeah. To yeah, but trial and error. And then
Mhm.
yeah, I felt like yeah, I spend all that money, but I also felt like this is an investment. I will learn from this anyways. Like I'm now I'm 23. I was 22 then. I was like I'll be able to work in a warehouse again and make this money if I lose it all. So yeah, that was 6K which I invested.
Mm. And it's like, so if you think about like other businesses, right? Like that, I mean, like it's really like, if you're thinking about that from the perspective, okay, you spending $6,000 or investing $6,000, $10,000, because oftentimes people are like, oh, where do I, like, oh, I have some savings, where do I put my money, right? And
Yeah.
so if you think about it, like, let's say, and there's many great opportunities. I believe like e-commerce is one of the most, like, I mean, it's very scalable, right? It's like you can operate business like in different countries. Like, you
Yeah.
know, Simone lives in Dubai and he sells in 13 countries in Europe, and he sells in the US market. He's like, it's like sitting in his, in Dubai, right? You you
Yeah.
you you're in Sweden, and you're selling in Sweden. You sold in Norway. You're selling in Germany. So just from scalability standpoint, is such a phenomenal like business model. And
Yeah.
starting a business was like $6,000, even like $10,000, and getting that business to, obviously it's your, besides that, it's your time, it's energy, like you learning, you implementing,
Mhm.
but getting that business was a potential that you just had like 100K last month. I think it just to think about it, how incredible that is, that
Yeah.
if you commit to a specific opportunity, right? Could be, I mean, doesn't have to be e-commerce, but I think e-commerce is amazing opportunity. But like,
Yeah.
if you commit to that for 1 year, like 2 years, like imagine that, right? Like you said, Marcos, right? I don't know how long Marcos has been in e-commerce. Like, has been in e-commerce longer than you?
Yeah, he started 3 months before me,
Yeah,
basically.
right.
So yeah, I know that he did it like when he was like 17 for a little while, but
Uh-huh.
then yeah, before that he basically started with the same mentor 3 months before me, and yeah, then we were going on quite. I was basically 3 months behind him the whole time. It felt like, and now he just exploded. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's he just went to another level. Yeah.
But it is a compound effect, right? It is a
Yeah.
compound. It is a compound effect, right? Because like, yes, at the beginning it's hard. Yes, it is challenging. Yes, it is like there's all of these kind of like obstacles that come your way, and there's a learning curve, and there's time constraints, and there's like financial constraints, but all of those things. But as you go through them, like, and as you're getting better at what you do, if you're truly like, I mean, for that you just have to be focused on that one opportunity. If it's e-commerce, it's e-commerce. If you're doing like, I don't know, day trading, you just do day
Yeah.
trading. Don't try to do day trading and e-commerce like and 20 other things, right? Just do one thing. And so, but then like, let's say 1 year, you start seeing, okay, now it starts to get traction, right? Now project another year, right? Project
Yeah.
another year. Now you're doing like, if you really stick to it and you commit to mastery of that particular subject, now you could be doing, millions of dollars per month, right? If you do it correctly. And so if you just like keep hammering that opportunity. And I've had in my business so many times where like, oh fuck, this is so like, and I'm like, should I like just move on, do something different,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of like probably those, you have to breathe, you have to like kind of like you know reset yourself. Maybe you need like a good night of sleep, and you're like, fuck, I mean, another opportunity, you start from zero. Here you're already starting from something, you already know something, right? Okay, maybe what I've done wrong, like maybe I should evaluate my mistakes, boom boom, fix those mistakes. So it's like, but it is important, like especially this day and age where like there's so much information, there's so many different things pulling you so many different directions, to identify that one fucking thing that you just like go all in on, right? Cut all of the other options, commit to mastery of that particular, and that's how you get extraordinary results.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I think that's yeah, it's totally right what you're saying. I think if you go all in on something for a year, you will see insane results. I think that what's important for it is to really like have a plan, have goals for yourself though. Like I noticed that in the beginning, like the first 8 months when things didn't yeah, I didn't really see any results. I was working a lot, like every day, but now when I look back on it, I was like, was I actually working or was I just feel like I was working, you know? So I think if I would have made like better goals for myself, like plan my day every day and know like, okay, this is what I need to do. And just like, yeah, strive for that goal. That's the same thing now. Like now we're at 100K. I basically know, I think I know what to do to get to like 300K a month. And then just, yeah, it's slowly, slowly implementing those steps again to be able to go further. But yeah, to have a goal and actually have a plan behind it, that made a big difference for me as well.
Such a good point. Such a good point. It's even like, when it comes to planning, it's like people make New Year resolutions, like, oh, I want to like, I don't know, I want to be like become like make $1 million this year, right? And then just kind of like visualizing. I mean, it's like, yeah, and then they get excited, and like one weeks, 2 weeks, they're like, they already forgot
Yeah.
about it. Like they just, yeah. So, but it's like, let's say, okay, I need to make let's say 1 million. Okay, so to make $1 million, you have to first of all break it into months. Okay, how much money do I have to make every month to make $1 million? Okay, so let's say 85 whatever $1,000. Okay, cool. How much do I have to generate per day to make that? Okay, cool. All right, so how many And so now, like, okay, so what I can do to make that amount, right? Like, okay, I need to sell, let's say if it's like $3,000 a day, just for, illustration purposes. And if I sell, I don't know, $50 product, I need to sell 60 products a day. I need to generate 60 sales a day. Okay, now it's more like, okay, now it's more realistic. Okay, maybe today you're only selling 5 or you're selling 1. Okay, so how can I sell more? Okay, what are the main variables in that? Let's say if you're in e-commerce, there's only a few variables. There's your conversion funnel. I mean, there's a product. Okay, is the product proven to sell? Number 2 is your website. Number 3 is your ads. Like, that's it. I mean, three main variables to get you to that level. And so now, okay, my website, okay, your conversion rate is like, let's say 1%. Okay, it sucks. Okay, so now you just go all in on that one fucking thing, that one constraint, right? Because if you take that conversion rate from 1% to like 3-4%, now you're in a position to spend more money on ads. That puts you in a position to achieve your goal. And so, kind of like, as you said, planning like upfront, right? Breaking those big goals into more sizable chunks, more achievable. Okay, so on the monthly level, weekly level, daily level, right? And then identifying the main constraints that stand in your way. Let's say if it's like creatives, or have to figure out creatives, go all in on creatives, like all the resources you can get on creatives, like pay the best people like to learn about creatives. If it's conversion, if it's like product selection, like choose, like go all fucking in, it's like, and in like, let's say if you just commit to that one like particular like level, area of expertise, and you just like binge watch like stuff on a particular topic, I mean, you can become an expert, like top 1% of expert in that particular field in like few weeks. Most people, they just like, oh, a little bit information here, a little bit information here, a little bit information here. Oh, I go on TikTok. Oh, I go on Instagram. Oh, I go on YouTube. Oh, I get motivated. Oh, I get this like, and so now, as you said, it's like, might feel like, oh yeah, I'm working like 16 hours a day, but have you worked like in a focused manner where like, it's like fucking laser, right? It's like this one thing, it's one thing that stands in front of me, and I'll just hammer this one until I crack it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it's so important, and I feel still sometimes today I when I don't plan my day as good, I sit down, and there's a bunch of little things which you can start working on, but at the end of the day, then it can just feel like, what have I actually done today? So I think that was such a big mindset shift for me, to really plan out like, what do I want to achieve, and have like, try and have like monthly goals, weekly goals, those kind of things. Make a huge difference, I think.
Awesome, I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you at 300 is good, like, I think, yeah, million a month would be nice, for you.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice. But 300 is for sure the next. It's the next goal. That's for sure the next step where we want to get to. So
we have this client Emmanuel. I don't know if you Emmanuel Sabelcio.
someone from Sweden as well, or
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's such a cool entrepreneur. So
Yeah,
when we first first he joined ESS. He was working 9 to 5 job, and he was trying e-commerce, but he was trying to sell in the US market. And so we had we started working together. Told him, I mean, you probably like, I mean, you're from Sweden, I mean, you should probably sell in Swedish market. And so he started that, and like in first 3 months or so, he done like $250,000 or something in sales. He quit his job, and then yeah,
good.
few few months later, he made his first $1 million in sales, and then he sold the business. Then he
Yeah,
sold the business.
I've seen that.
You know him, right? Or you know?
Yeah. I've seen the interview with them as well.
Yeah,
It's insane, and I've heard more about them. Yeah, that's and I know he did quite the same thing again with like a new store.
yeah. They're like I met him in Barcelona in July. They've been crushing with that.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah,
Do you
he's
know his
doing very
story? Do you know
well.
his brand?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
nice.
yeah, it's amazing what he did actually with that again. So that was very
Uh-huh.
cool. I know that he actually, because that was one of the things that he, there was actually some articles about it in the news as well,
Oh,
because his
wow.
store made some quite like crazy claims,
Uh-huh.
and that yeah, that became a little bit of an issue, I think. But
Uh-huh.
it seems like he solved it all. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
it's crazy, but yeah, that's it's super cool to see, and it's amazing to see that that potential actually is here. Same with like Toppy when I talked to him, and yeah, to see that it's actually possible to do 20K a day in
Yeah.
Finland, then it should be possible to do 40K a day in Sweden, basically, because there's double
Yeah.
amount of people. So yeah, that's yeah, it's all mindset things, I guess, as well, and being able to have that belief again that it's
Yeah.
possible, and
And
just
and
yeah,
the biggest thing that kind of like breaks those beliefs, right? Because like we are like it's like, I mean, you can read it from the book, right? Like you can watch on YouTube, but when you actually connecting with someone, right? And
yeah,
you're talking and you're seeing those like, oh wow, now it clicks. Now it's kind of like finally, fuck, it's possible, right? And so, and when you believe it, it's possible, like now, like all of the tactics, all of the like strategy, kind of like all of the things, how to make it happen, like you find a way, right?
yeah,
But it starts with a belief, like internal belief that this is possible. That's why I think, also, I mean, big obstacle for people, as you said, it's like when, let's say 100 people start e-commerce business, right? Just go on Shopify, start on Shopify. Then out of those people, like let's say 1 2 years, like project 1 2 years, like only like five, maybe five of them will still have a business. Like one of them or two of them will have extremely successful business, right? Like, and then
yeah,
like, five of them will be okay, or like 10. And
yeah,
so, because like most people, they'll be just kind of like obviously bombarded with all of this information, right? They will not have the right belief system. They will not be like in the right environment. They will not
yeah,
be like surrounded by people that kind of like you look at them and you believe it, and you actually go after it and do everything that you can in your power to actually make it happen. And so it is fascinating for me to kind of just like I don't know, just get better understanding why like what stops most people. What's like what is that like, invisible force, right? And like
yeah,
with all of the abundance of opportunity, why they still, don't make it happen. At the same time, what differentiates those successful people, right? Like, so that's why these conversations are so fascinating for me, like to have, because I'm learning as much from you. Like, it's like, okay, what is it? What is the thought process that you had, and the belief systems?
yeah. That made a huge change for me as well. Like listening to all these interviews, like that's how I found out about ESS, of course, and then yeah, to listen to all the interviews and hearing what's possible from all these people, then that's what really made me like keep on pushing as well. To be honest, like to see that yeah, so many people came on with you for interviews telling that they were doing at least like hundred of thousands of dollars a month or even millions like that. That was like these all of these people are just the same as me basically. Why they are not much different than I am. They just have learned more than what I have basically. And that's I think yeah, that it was such a big mindset shift to see actual how that works, and just yeah, that's how I definitely think like from joining ESS to see that so many people in there were doing it already, that yeah, it was insane. So and then yeah, it helps so much to believe that
Mm,
yeah, that it that's I guess that's what keeps you pushing as well. And I think that's something which is very important, to just yeah, wanting to keep on achieving that next level basically, because
for sure.
otherwise in the end you will probably fall behind if you don't try and get better all the time basically in this business.
Yeah, yeah. And if you also have like competitive natures, like you're like, okay, this guy did it. I mean, I can probably,
Yeah,
I'll do it too. Like this guy, like, it's like it's a
yeah,
competitive, like in sports, like in hockey, it's like
Yeah, I definitely found like the competitiveness that I have in hockey and the ecom now as well. Same with like how you build up like friends around you who basically become your team of people who you do everything with. That's it's crazy how the similarities are there.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining me today. How
Yeah.
people can connect with you? Maybe we have some other Swedish entrepreneurs watching.
Yeah, they can try Instagram. I usually don't. I removed the app for a very long time. I downloaded it to answer Facebook comments again, basically, or Instagram comments. But that would be the best way to do it, I would say, or like add me on Facebook. But I think Instagram, just my name, Bob Gerritsen. That would be the easiest way.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll share it. We'll share it here so people can connect with you. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm looking forward to see your next. Um, we have the chat internally, like on the SS team, we're like dropping wins, from
Yeah.
like, and the teams drop the win from you. And so I'm looking forward to seeing there, like 200 G's a month, 300 G's a month, and
Me
and
too.
and beyond. um
Me too. Hopefully
cool,
it will
man.
be soon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for
yeah,
having me. It
let's
was a
make it
pleasure
happen.
talking to you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Bob. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for watching. And yeah, wishing you all the best on your journey. And we're here to support you and help you get to the
Yeah.
next level.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And looking forward to meet you in real life sometime. Unfortunately, with Miami now, but the next one I'll be
Yeah,
there.
let's do it, my man.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone,
Yeah.
for watching. I'll see you guys